It was a crisp autumn day, the kind where the air is cool, but the sun still provides a warm embrace. My friends and I had decided to go for a walk in the nearby forest, a place we had explored countless times before. The forest was our sanctuary, a place where we could escape the stresses of school and everyday life. Little did we know that this familiar place would soon become the setting of a terrifying ordeal. There were 5 of us that day. Me, Sarah, Mark, Jenny, and Emma. Emma was the adventurous one, always eager to explore new paths and discover hidden spots in the forest. As we walked along the familiar trails, she spotted a narrow, overgrown path that we hadn't noticed before. "Hey guys, look at this!" Emma called out, already heading down the path. "Let's see where it leads." "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Mark asked, a hint of concern in his voice. "We don't know where it goes." "Come on, where's your sense of adventure?" Emma replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We'll be fine. It's just a forest." Reluctantly, we followed her, trusting her instincts as we had so many times before. The path was narrow and winding, leading us deeper into the forest. The trees grew denser, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out much of the sunlight. Despite the increasing darkness, Emma forged ahead, her enthusiasm contagious. After walking for about an hour, we reached a small clearing. In the center of the clearing was an old, abandoned cabin, its wooden walls weathered and covered in moss. Emma's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Let's check it out," she said, already making her way towards the cabin. We followed her, hesitant but intrigued. The cabin looked like it hadn't been inhabited for years. The door creaked loudly as Emma pushed it open, revealing a dusty interior filled with old furniture and cobwebs. We spent some time exploring the cabin, but there was nothing particularly interesting inside. "Well, that was a bit anticlimactic," Sarah said, brushing cobwebs off her sleeve. "Shall we head back?" "Yeah, it's getting late," I agreed. "We should get back to the main trail before it gets dark." Emma, however, seemed reluctant to leave. She was examining a map that she had found in one of the drawers. "Hey guys, look at this. It shows some kind of lake nearby. We could check it out and then head back." "Emma, we really should be going," Mark said firmly. "It's not safe to wander around here after dark." "Fine," Emma sighed, folding the map and putting it in her pocket. "We'll come back another day." We left the cabin and retraced our steps along the narrow path. As we walked, we chatted and joked, the earlier tension forgotten. It wasn't until we reached the main trail that we realized Emma was no longer with us. "Wait, where's Emma?" Jenny asked, looking around frantically. We called out her name, but there was no response. Panic set in as we realized she must have wandered off somewhere along the way. "She must have gone back to the cabin," Mark said. "I'll go check. You guys stay here." "I'll go with you," I said, not wanting him to go alone. We ran back to the cabin, calling Emma's name as we went. When we reached the clearing, the cabin door was still ajar, but there was no sign of Emma. We searched the surrounding area, but she was nowhere to be found. "She can't have gone far," Mark said, trying to remain calm. "Let's head back to the others and figure out what to do." When we returned to the main trail, Sarah and Jenny were waiting anxiously. "Did you find her?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. "No, she's not at the cabin," I replied. "We need to split up and search for her. She can't be too far." We divided into pairs and started searching different parts of the forest, calling Emma's name and hoping for a response. The hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor. Our initial worry turned into outright fear as the light faded and there was still no sign of Emma. As night fell, we regrouped at the main trail, exhausted and scared. It was clear that we needed help. "We have to call the police," Jenny said, her voice shaking. "We can't find her on our own." Mark pulled out his phone and called 911, explaining the situation to the dispatcher. Within an hour, a search and rescue team arrived, equipped with flashlights, dogs, and radios. They began a systematic search of the forest, but as the night wore on, there was still no sign of Emma. The search continued into the early hours of the morning. We stayed with the rescue team, too worried to go home. The forest, once a place of joy and adventure, now felt like a dark, menacing labyrinth. Every rustle of leaves and snap of a twig sent chills down our spines. Just as dawn was breaking, one of the search dogs began barking excitedly. We ran towards the sound, hearts pounding with hope. The dog had found something, a piece of Emma's jacket caught on a branch. It was a small clue, but it renewed our determination. The search intensified in the area where the jacket was found. We scoured every inch of the forest, calling out Emma's name. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we heard a faint cry for help. "This way!" one of the rescuers shouted, leading us towards the sound. We found Emma huddled at the base of a large tree, shivering and disoriented. She was covered in scratches and looked exhausted, but she was alive. Tears of relief streamed down our faces as we rushed to her side. "Emma, are you okay?" I asked, kneeling beside her. She nodded weakly, her eyes filled with gratitude. "I got lost. I didn't know where to go." "It's okay," I said, hugging her tightly. "You're safe now. We're here." The rescuers helped Emma to her feet and escorted her back to the main trail, where an ambulance was waiting. She was taken to the hospital for a checkup, and we were finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. In the days that followed, Emma recovered from her ordeal. She had suffered from dehydration and minor injuries, but she was otherwise unharmed. The experience had shaken all of us, but it had also brought us closer together. We realized how much we cared for each other and how important it was to stay connected and watch out for one another. Emma's parents were incredibly grateful for the efforts of the search and rescue team, as well as for the support of her friends. They threw a small party to celebrate her safe return, and we all gathered to share our relief and happiness. As we sat around the table, laughing and reminiscing, Emma turned to us with a serious expression. "I just want to say thank you," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I don't know what I would have done without you guys. I'm so sorry for putting you through all that." "Don't be sorry," Sarah said, squeezing her hand. "We're just glad you're okay." "Yeah, that's what friends are for," Mark added, raising his glass. "To Emma, for being the bravest person we know." "To Emma," we all echoed, clinking our glasses together. The experience had changed us all. We had faced fear and uncertainty, but we had come out stronger on the other side. We knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would always have each other's backs. In the weeks and months that followed, we continued to explore the forest, but with a newfound respect for its vastness and unpredictability. We made sure to stick together and keep each other in sight, knowing that the forest, while beautiful, could also be treacherous. Emma's adventure had taught us the importance of caution and preparation. We started carrying maps, compasses, and emergency supplies on our hikes, and we made sure to let our parents know where we were going and when we expected to be back. Despite the scare, our love for the forest remained. It was a place where we felt free and alive, a place where we could connect with nature and with each other. And now, it was also a place that held a story of survival and friendship, a story that we would carry with us for the rest of our lives. As we continued to grow and change, the bond between us remained unbreakable. We faced new challenges and adventures, always knowing that we could rely on each other. The memory of that day in the forest, when we almost lost Emma, served as a reminder of the strength of our friendship and the importance of staying together. Years later, as we gathered for a reunion, we found ourselves reminiscing about that fateful day. We had all gone our separate ways, college, careers, and new adventures, but the bond we had formed during that time had never faded. Remember the time we got lost in the forest? Mark said, a nostalgic smile on his face. How could I forget? Emma replied, her eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and gratitude. It was the scariest day of my life, but also the day I realized how much you all mean to me. We've been through a lot together, Jenny said, raising her glass. To friendship and all the adventures we've shared. To friendship, we all echoed, clinking our glasses once again. The forest had tested us, but it had also brought us closer together. It had shown us the strength of our bond and the importance of looking out for one another. And as we continued to navigate the journey of life, we knew that we would always carry the lessons we had learned in those woods with us. Emma's disappearance and the subsequent search had been a turning point in our lives, a moment that had defined our friendship and solidified our commitment to each other. It was a story that we would tell for years to come, a story of fear, hope, and the unbreakable bond of friendship. And as we looked towards the future, we knew that no matter where life took us, we would always have each other. The forest, once a place of adventure and discovery, had become a symbol of our resilience and unity. It was a place where we had faced our fears and emerged stronger, a place that would forever hold a special place in our hearts.